Another thing that you want to do for your interview is to make sure that I forgot. Hey guys, so welcome back to my channel. As you know, it's Epic Tours, where it's all about fun, food, travel, and being able to work remotely. Sorry guys. All right, so for today, we're actually going to be doing, as it relates to work, a work video. Right now, I know a lot of persons during the pandemic have been doing interviews online or working from home, things like that. So I hope that this video will be helpful and useful to someone like that. So remember to just take a minute, subscribe, click the bell, like, share, all of that. All right, and we will get started. All right, guys, so our video today is all about doing those online interviews. I don't want to limit it to Zoom because it could be Teams, it could be Zoom, it could be Google Hangout or Google Meet now. Like, it could be any kind of online platform, right? Could be WhatsApp video call, I don't know. But just how to deal with a video call interview. So let's get right into it. First thing I usually recommend is if it's an app, for example, if it's Zoom, if it's Teams, whatever it is, test it before the interview day. Yes? Don't wait until the day of the interview, you're downloading the app and no, I wouldn't recommend that, right? So I really suggest that beforehand you download it, test it out, click here, click there, see what this button does, see what that does. I've heard too many Zoom videos or Zoom video mishaps where you have people getting ready, people sitting in their bra, not even realizing. These would have been like meeting settings. But for an interview, you want to make sure that you know how the app works. So I recommend you test it. Good? Test it out, call a friend as in video call, practice, whatever it is, just to make sure that you can use the app. Because you don't want to be in that interview and you're like, freezing and trying to figure out what is what in the middle of the interview. So that's one thing. All right. The second thing that I do recommend, all right, so I'm not going to number this because I'm going to lose track. So let's just say, so the next thing that you want to do is to test your equipment, right? Test all the things that you would probably need. I usually recommend a headset if it is that you're using, a computer or whichever. Use a headset because it's a lot clearer. Right? So I recommend that, not a must, but I think a headset is good. I also recommend if you have a computer versus your phone, use the computer for the interview versus the phone. All right? But not to get thrown off a little, but first you want to test everything. So you test your headset, test your connection. I won't call any names, but you have some providers out there that are not the best as it relates to connection. So you want to make sure your connection is good, it's stable. You see, if you know from beforehand that your connection kind of iffy, go for somebody's house that has a good connection for that interview, right? Prepare. And then also you want to test that the video is working fine, that it's not blurry, or they can probably see like half of your face or anything like that. So make sure that the video is clear and smooth, and that the interview will run smoothly. Now, as it relates to testing your connection is kind of tricky, to be honest, because a headset can go like 5 minutes before the interview. So I usually recommend you test it beforehand, but you also test it again right before the interview, just to make sure. And if it's really like a life or death and it's not working, then you can actually reach out before the interview time and let them know that you have that issue or whatever. All right, so that's another thing I recommend. Now, the reason why I was saying I would recommend a computer versus a phone is because I feel like the computer is a little bit easier to maneuver. You could just sit. With the phone, you're going to, if it's not maybe a tripod or something, you're going to have to catch it somewhere. It might be straight, it might be lean. You might have your videos where you're up here in the camera or you're down here, and you don't really want that during the interview. What you may off about here, right? So you want to be about this close. You don't want to be way out here for the interview and they're like, I can't even see who I'm interviewing. No, you want to have like a good space. Now, if you're using the laptop, I just carried my, just to show you. But like if you're using the laptop, you want to make sure that it's exactly at like eye level, the camera. The webcam is here, so you want to have that eye level view, right? You don't want to have the camera up here and you're like, hi, my name is so-and-so. That angle would be messed up. Or like this where they're looking up in your nose pretty much. So you want to have it stable like this and on a flat surface. If it is that you maybe have a low table, then you can stack up some books or something just to get that the eye level, right, for using that. Another thing that you want to do is to figure out what you are going to wear. All right, now what I'm wearing now, I actually wear this. Whoa. All right, so what I'm wearing now, I actually wore this because just to show, I guess, something that would be appropriate for the interview, depending on the job, because this kind of looks a little sleeveless like. So maybe what you could do is wear like a jacket or a cardigan or something over it, just to kind of eliminate that. So like I would maybe put this over it just to give you a more professional look. And then as it relates to what you wear, this is not just for females I'm talking, this is also for the men. You want to make sure that you wear, maybe a suit and a tie, or a nice shirt and a tie, or just make sure that you look professional for the interview. All right? Because this is what they're seeing, right? So you want to work with the professionalism as much as possible. Now, men too, I think. But for the women, I don't recommend you wearing something bright like this, because this color, this neon pink, gosh, I love this jacket. I love pink, right? But this neon pink would be too bright. It's going to take away from you doing the interview. They'll be focusing too much on the jacket. So you want to wear like light, neutral colors, nothing too bright, to blind the people in the interview. So I usually recommend that, right? So ensure that you look professional as well as that your background looks professional, right? This is a trial and error. I'm not sure how my background is going to look after I edit this video, but for now it's kind of okay, but I want to sort of blur out the background, right? But for an interview, what I would do is a completely clear background. But if you don't have a clear background, then you would want to maybe go somewhere with maybe a bookshelf behind you, or just give it a professional look. Don't let it be like your bed behind you and then you see the cat jump on the bed. That would not be professional for an interview. So you don't want to have that. So just make sure that you have a good background that speaks professionalism, right? Make sure that where you are is distraction free. You hear what I just said about the cat jumping on the bed story? You don't want to have that going on during an interview. You don't want to hear your mother calling you, your father calling you, your sister and your brother talking, somebody walking behind you. You don't want any of that. So you want to have that distraction-free area. So maybe before the interview, you let everyone know, okay, so I'm going to have an interview at 10 a.m. You guys need to go out, right? Or you're going to stay in the rooms, but you just prep everyone so that you don't have any disturbances during your interview, right? As much as you might be doing the interview, don't keep your phone close by. Have your phone somewhere else, or if you do have it close by, make sure the sound is off, or turn off your notifications, whatever it is, just so you don't have any beep beep or sounds going on through as you do the videos. Now this, honestly, this can apply for both males and females, but once you're doing that video, for women, honestly, I'm not a makeup person. If anyone knows me, I'm really not big on makeup. I can't even put it on for myself. I barely can do something. I literally can just do foundation, that's it. But you see, I usually recommend just a little makeup or a little touch-up when you're doing an interview, just to get rid of the shine. Okay, you don't want to sit down in front of the interviewer and your face will shine. That's not cute, right? So you don't want to have that. And that's also for men. So men, you can use maybe a rag and, just to keep your face nice. Even if you want to do a little makeup and touch-up, nothing wrong with that. Nobody's not going to know. It's just to get that proper, interview thing going. So another thing that would be important would be to have good lighting. I think good lighting is key for any interview because they want to see who they're talking to. And to get great lighting, you want to go into a well-lit room. And then once you're in that well-lit room, you want to have the light facing you. So for example, where I'm sitting now, you could see through the mirror maybe. There's a window in front of me, there's a window beside me, right? So if I were to maybe go and stand in front of the window, then you'd realize that this lighting is not perfect because all sorts of different angles come in. So you want to stay one place where you have that perfect lighting. Now, if you don't have the lighting like that, what you could do is get a light, like a lamp, and put it right behind the phone or the computer, whatever it is, and have it shining directly in your face. When I had started, working online, that's what I did because my lighting was crappy. So I put like one behind. But yeah, but this lighting now is fine. This is ideal. But you could still get it brighter than this, right? This is a kind of dark room. But you could still get it. So that's another important factor. Right? So those are the tips I think that you could use in terms of prepping for the interview, right? But now let's talk a little bit about the interview itself. All right, so doing a virtual interview, in going in, you're not going to actually get to shake someone's hand. So what you want to do is give like a virtual handshake, which is weird. You probably never heard of it like that, but a virtual handshake is just like a nod of confirmation, like, hi, good afternoon. That's it. Virtual handshake, a nod. Good? So that's one thing that you could do. The next thing is you want to make sure that you're sitting straight upright like this. You don't want to be like slouching for the interview. Like, hi, I'm Monica. No, you want to sit up straight, look presentable, professional, all of that in one. So you want to bring off that effect. Another thing is be confident. Coming from me, that's a big thing, right? So you want to be confident for that interview. Be like, hello, my name is Monica. And you show your confidence. Answer your questions with confidence. So practice before with a friend if you're kind of shy and reserved. And another tip, if you're really shy or kind of afraid, what you could do, this is like a cheat sheet. If you're using like your computer, you could use like some Post-it notes. Yeah, you could have Post-it notes on the screen. Nobody will know, right? You could have like little Post-it notes to give you tips and pointers on how to answer your questions during the interview. So I think that's also, a little getaway thing. So cheat sheets could work. Another thing for that interview is you want to speak clearly so that the interviewer can understand everything that you are saying. Now for me, when I do these videos, I might just rant and go fast and then you can't hear me sometimes. But the point of an interview is to take your time, talk slowly. I don't mean like super slow, but talk slow enough so that they can hear all the words that you are saying. Good? So that's one more thing. And then the thing with Zoom interview, for example, Zoom, I want to use Zoom specifically. You want to be on time for the interview. You don't want to be early unless they said to come early, but you don't want to be early, but you definitely don't want to be late. You have to be right on time. Because the thing with Zoom is you don't want to go in beforehand and maybe they're actually doing another interview, so you end up joining somebody else's interview. So if your interview is at 5, get in at 5 or 1 minute to 5. So by 5 o'clock, you're in, right? So you want to be right, depending on your internet speed. So you want to be right on time. And another thing that you want to look at is your body language as you do the interview. It's good to gesticulate sometimes, but you don't want to do that too much. So like everything you're saying, all your hands all over the place. And, I do a lot of that. But not like that, right? But you don't want to do too much gesticulation for an interview. Like even now, I'm doing some, but as you can see, you can't really see it unless my hand comes up here. So I might do some that you could see and then some that you won't. So doing it like this, no one knows, but there are still points where you want to maybe do a little bit, but not too much. Don't OD it. All right, so guys, those are just some of my tips for Zoom. I keep saying Zoom because like it's the most popular one being used since of late, but for any online interview. I hope these tips helped. If you have any questions or if you want to add anything else, maybe I left out some things because I was just winging this. But those are some tips that I think can be really helpful. Not everything might apply to you. It depends on what you're applying for, what the job is. They might need more things. They might need less from you. Maybe this would be okay. Maybe you have to wear a jacket. It depends, right? But you still want to bring off a professional look because it's your first impression. First impressions count. So, yeah. I hope that helps. All right, guys. So it was awesome sharing these tips with you. All right. So thanks for watching, guys. Remember, subscribe. Share. Like. All right, guys. Take care. Bye.